Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of a reflective and mindful topic about growth orientation. And I would say we get straight into it. You are not your thoughts. This is one of the most important insights of spiritual growth. Many people struggle with overthinking and self-criticism, or with emotional loops, because the mind wants to stay busy. It cannot remain idle. This point is actually funny because most of the time you were conditioned to chase all kinds of distractions. Look at everywhere around you. There are cars, there are lights, there are advertisements, signs everywhere, sentences everywhere. Everyone wants to get your attention, and it gets scattered all over. But once you're at rest, physically idle, just laying or sitting quiet, you're once able to observe your mind. You see all those thoughts that can either be about the present, which is least likely, or about future plans, which is in one case really important. For example, when you're still lying in bed without looking at your phone all the time, or when you're showering, or when you're going for a walk, your mind wants to plan the future most of the time. So you can write down your plans, your structures, and you're heading in a direction. You're actually letting your mind finally think about stuff, finally make plans. And here is what is least productive. Most of the time you're thinking about the past. Don't misunderstand me. Self-criticism is very good to learn. It's your best teacher. But overly thinking about what happened in the past and what you could have done better does not do any favor. In fact, all the things you're thinking about that happened in the past and are just a memory in your brain, but still trigger the same neurotransmitters and other chemicals in your brain, thinking and feeling the way you did in the past. So you're actually recreating what was in your memory. And what does it do to your favor? Most of the time, nothing. So we agree you should direct your focus into the present moment. When you're not planning anything, when you have enough time for yourself, when you're quiet, when you can observe your mind, you can learn to let thoughts pass through you, like clouds. Imagine you're sitting at the window watching some clouds pass by. Compare them to your thoughts. Thoughts also pass by. You can give them more attention, but you shouldn't, and that's where it gets interesting. When you are at rest, when you're only thinking about the present, directing your focus only on this moment, and when you actually are able to stay in this moment, whenever you catch yourself drifting off, which can always happen after a few seconds, and it requires a lot of training. You see, on the next layer, this is most interesting. So, you're now giving your attention not to your present thoughts, but to this moment, to your body, to your breath, to this moment, to the things around you, to your senses. You notice the sounds around you, you notice your body and your surroundings more intensive. And then comes the realization, the final revelation. So many of us believe everything we think. But what if we are not our thoughts? What if we are just the observers of thoughts? Think about this. If you are not the brain, if your brain just creates thoughts, what part of you observes thoughts? This is what we call you. This is not the ego. This is not your senses, not your thoughts coming from your mind, but this is awareness. Mindfulness is awareness. Focus is awareness. You are training your vitality. This is why meditation, what some call it, or just mindfulness, or just rest, what I would call it, rest of body and mind, is there for. This is why it is so important to train this skill, because this is the very meaning of life, vitality. This is you. You are awareness. You are the mindfulness. You might be full of mind, but you are the observer of your mind. Without the observer, the mind would absolutely be neglectable, obsolete, would not matter. Without an observer, nothing would matter. Unobserved things are even debatable to exist, but this is a wholly different topic. Imagine the following thing. You cannot solve a problem on the same level that it is created. A nice quote from Albert Einstein, but it actually also goes for mind and observations. You cannot comprehend on the same level that has created. Or let's say, what can be created must at least be on the same level of understanding be observed. So let me talk about this more clearly. To change how we think, we need to observe thought from a higher level, from awareness itself. You cannot be the mind and observe it at the same time. A thought cannot observe itself, okay? So who or what is observing the mind? It's not the brain, it's not the thinking or the mind. It's the awareness behind the thinking. And this is your true self, the quiet presence who is watching. When you stop identifying with every thought and emotion, then you create space. This is what I want from you when you're at rest. Create the space so you are coming behind those layers of thoughts. And in that space, you find peace, you find clarity, you find freedom. You will find purpose, because you will be busy finding out who you are and what you want. So, To conclude this, let me give you some phrases to think about. You are the sky. Thoughts are just clouds passing through. That's a good one, and we talked about it because that's one of the most popular ones. You are the sky. Thoughts are just clouds passing through. Awareness is the canvas. The mind is the paint. You can't fix a noisy radio by turning up the volume. You have to step back and listen. Or another quote I've heard that also fits in this category: you're not the actor in the movie. You are the very screen on which movies are played. You can think about this, because I really like to think about prompts. And on this channel there are also lots of affirmations, and there will be more affirmation videos in the future. What I also want you to do is 2 last things. Think about this. What is one thought I've believed too long that no longer serves me? And 2, can I let this thought go? Good. To conclude this, you are the awareness behind the thought, the observer, and that is your power.